Okay.
In that Chuck Wagner is and his family own the wine, and his father, Chuck Sr.,
Okay.
and Mother Lorena decided to buy this land, or actually owned what was then a ranch in the Napa Valley, and they were thinking about selling the ranch and moving to Australia, but they went to their son Chuck, who was just graduated from high school, and said, by the way, either we're going to move to Australia or would you like to start a winery?
Amazing.
And Chuck decided that Chuck Jr. decided, okay, we're going to open up the winery,
Yeah.
and they've been making great wine ever since.
That's pretty amazing for a high school student to be like, yeah, who doesn't want to have a winery, right? But that's great.
And they have a lovely tasting room.
Okay.
It's always very crowded when you go there. And they make some great wines.
And that's in Napa?
That's in Napa. Mm-hmm.
Kind of,
it's a little bit more on the southern end of it.
The Sonoma side?
No, it's a little bit more on the southern side of the Napa Valley.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And this was kind of a next project for them. The Soissons Valley is about 60 miles away from their location.
Okay.
But it has a climate that's actually very good. It's a little cooler, a little wetter climate than Napa has. And as I hear, it's really good for growing Petite Syrah.
Very nice. Now, is it Petite Syrah, just a different name? Because I don't know a lot about Petite Syrahs, or is it a blend of a couple?
No, it's its own.
It's its own grape. Okay.
And the French name for that is Durif.
Oh,
so they decided to call this the Grand Durif.
You're learning some French today too.
Yeah,
I'm excited. All right. Do you want me to do the honors?
I would like you to do the honors. We will try these glasses.
Okay.
To go ahead and
now,
try this wine.
When you're doing tastings like this, because these are some nice wines.
Yeah.
What is an appropriate level for us rookies, right? Who, just because I love drinking wine and I drink it all the time, what is an appropriate pour for something like this?
Well, a normal glass of wine is anywhere from 6 to 8 ounces,
Mm-hmm.
and a pour that would probably be just about enough for a tasting.
Okay.
So that's about an ounce and a half.
Excellent.
And that's about how much wine you want in the glass. Now, there's a couple of things that you achieve by this.
Okay.
I tend to just like the idea that whatever allows you to enjoy a tasting,
Mm-hmm.
that's how you should do it.
Okay.
Now, my wife has got a very defined ritual. So one of the things that people will suggest, and it's nice to have a white table, is that you turn the glass and you get a sense of the denseness of the wine,
Okay.
the richness of the wine, by whether you can see through it or not.
Interesting. Okay.
And I don't see any white in there, so this is
This is
pretty rich and dense wine. Okay, and oftentimes people will talk about swirling it, and the reason I've been told that you want to swirl it is that it coats the glass with wine
Mm-hmm.
and releases aromas.
Okay.
And so once you coat the glass, then you would stick your nose in
Mm-hmm.
to get a sense of what's referred to as the bouquet of the wine.
And
there's a difference between tasting the lower end, which, if I remember correctly, will give you more fruit, and the upper end will give you a little more sense of the alcohol that may or may not be on the wine.
interesting. It actually does. Believe
Now,
that.
when you actually take some sips,
Mm-hmm.
different people like to swish, swirl, whatever. Whatever allows you to taste the wine is what I think people should do.
Okay.
Now, oftentimes you'll hear wines described with having different types of berries. You'll hear things like cigar smokes, leather, other things you might not like to taste,
like dirt, like soil, minerals, stuff
and that
like
might
that.
be more true for French wines.
Okay.
Where the terroir, or the soil, becomes very important. So we're tasting California wines. So mostly what you're going to get from California wines is probably a little bit more fruit than what you might get in a French wine.
Okay.
Okay?
Interesting.
My scale is just exactly what someone earlier said. I like this, I don't like that. I think that's the most important part of wine tasting.
Right. And that's kind of how I do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I like to ask you about wines because you're so knowledgeable, but I also just love like, hey, I like this $6 bottle, and and maybe if you can or can't afford, a $60 bottle or an $80 bottle, like there are wines out there that are less expensive that still taste really good. Find those wines and enjoy them.
Well, exactly. And these are perhaps special occasion wines where you're celebrating something,
Right.
not something that you would drink every week if you had a bottle a week or so.
Right.
But these are kind of special occasion wines.
Okay.
Yeah. So enjoy.
Oh man, that is good.